Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Director Nelson, Director Clark, Director Perotti,
Here.
Director Julian, Director Infante,
Here.
Director Williams,
Here.
Director Rouse,
Here.
Director Hart, Director Lavanino,
Here.
Director Sierra,
Here.
Director Osborne,
Here.
Director Patino,
Here.
and Chair Hartman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. And Madam Clerk, would you please read the housekeeping information for participants on Zoom?
Certainly. Members of the public who wish to address the board today on any matter listed on the agenda or during the public comment period may do so in person at the Board of Supervisors hearing room in Santa Maria, the Board of Supervisors hearing room in Santa Barbara, or remotely via Zoom. To provide public comment in person, please deliver a speaker slip to the board clerk in Santa Maria, or if participating in Santa Barbara, please deliver a speaker slip to the designated APCD staff person on location. If participating via desktop, laptop, or smartphone, click on the raise hand button at the bottom of the screen, or if participating via dial-in telephone, press *9. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in the pledge. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item of business is reconsideration of the circumstances of the COVID-19 state of emergency. Councilor Richardson, did you have anything to add?
Just to interrupt, I do have to read the item into the
Sorry,
record.
yes, I'm rusty after vacation.
Item C, reconsider the circumstances of the COVID-19 state of emergency. C1, reconsider the circumstances of the COVID-19 state of emergency. C2, consider whether state or local officials continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. C3, find that the legislative body has reconsidered the circumstances of the state of emergency and that state or local officials continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. And C4, direct staff to continue to notice and hold hearings as remote hearings consistent with Government Code Section 54953E3.
And now, Ms. Richardson.
Chair Hartman, no update since last time, so the board can still make this determination if you'd wish or return to in person.
Okay, could I have a motion that we've reconsidered the circumstances and determined that they justify continued remote meetings?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And now discussion? Any discussion, Madam Clerk?
We did not receive any public comments and there are no raised hands on Zoom.
Okay, would you call the roll?
Director Perotti,
Aye.
Director Infante,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
Director Rouse,
Aye.
Director Lavanino,
Aye.
Director Sierra,
Aye.
Director Osborne,
Aye.
Director Patino,
Aye.
and Chair Hartman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
The next item is approval of 3 sets of minutes. We'll take them all in one motion. June 16th, 2022, July 5th, 2022, and July 21st, 2022. Could I have a motion that we approve these minutes?
So moved.
These minutes.
Was that Director Williams?
Sure.
Director Sierra will second.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Director Perotti,
Aye.
Director Infante,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
Director Rouse,
Aye.
Director Lavanino,
Aye.
Director Sierra,
Aye.
Director Osborne,
Aye.
Director Patino,
Aye.
and Chair Hartman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, that takes us to our administrative agenda. And do any directors have any items? I guess it's E1 through E11 that they would like pulled.
No raised hands on Zoom.
Okay, and so that means no members of the public either.
Correct. No
All
public
right.
comment.
S-
Oh, I will move them over.
Okay.
Director Hart, I believe we're making you a panelist rather than an attendee. And did you have something you'd like to say?
No, just thanks for letting me in. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, that means that no administrative items have been pulled, and so we're ready for a motion. Director Hart, would you like to make the motion to approve the administrative agenda?
Yes, I'll make that motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
No seconds.
Terrific. Madam Clerk.
Director Parodi,
Aye.
Director Julian,
Aye.
Director Infante,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
Director Rouse,
Aye.
Director Hart,
Aye.
Director Lavanino,
Aye.
Director Sierra,
Aye.
Director Osborne,
Aye.
Director Patino,
Aye.
and Chair Hartman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is our director's report. Miss Arlen Janae, will you please give your report?
Oh, great. Thank you. First off, I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce some new hires at the APCD. It's been quite a while since we've had an opportunity to bring in our new staff, actually before COVID. So over 2 years now since we've introduced new staff. So this isn't all of the new hires that we've hired since the last time. We're going to follow up with 2 batches, one this meeting, and then we're going to follow up at our next meeting as well. So to start off with, I have 2 new office technicians that joined us. Maria Salas was hired right before COVID. Go ahead and stand up there. Yay. She was hired on March 2nd, 2020. And basically right after she got there, we closed shop quickly, unfortunately, but she joined as an office technician, and she was a stellar employee for our agency. And even though the majority of us were working remote, she was responsible for going into the office to make sure a lot of the daily tasks were being handled. So I am very appreciative of Maria's work during an awkward time to onboard for sure with the agency. She was born and raised in Bakersfield. She attended Brightwood College, where she received a medical assistance diploma in 2007. Prior to joining the district, she worked at a memory care field before transitioning into office work. She worked at Kern County Aging and Adult Services as an office technician. Her and her family moved to Santa Barbara, January 2020. Throughout COVID, she did a great job carrying out all the essential functions at our office. On her off time, Maria stays busy with her 3 kids. Very close in age. She's got her hands full with her kids, and I love hearing her kids' stories. At various practices, lessons, attending soccer games on the weekends. She enjoys watching stand-up comedies and old horror films, and I didn't know that one until I got this summary. George Munoz, he was hired July 7th, 2022. He is our newest office technician. He was born and raised in Santa Barbara. He attended college at Notre Dame de Namur University in Belmont, California. I pronounced that incorrectly, I'm sure. Before joining the district, George worked at Curvature for 6 years as an inventory analyst. For fun, George enjoys playing soccer, a sport he has participated in his entire life, and he currently plays in the indoor soccer league in Santa Barbara. He has a very friendly 2-year-old Frenchton named Sousa, who sometimes make his appearance, her appearance. His appearance makes an appearance. They make an appearance at our office. That's one thing that we have done since coming back from COVID. We have a dog-friendly work environment now and a policy for that. And it's really something that a lot of us have the opportunity to share and enjoy.
You have a new puppy too, right?
I do. Pearl's usually here with me. Next time I might bring her to the meeting so you all can meet her. No, I won't. I'm teasing. As office technicians, both Maria and George are very busy assisting all of our divisions, including the mailing, receiving mail, as well as mailing out. We've been holding a lot of CAPCOA meetings recently at our office, and that's kept them very busy. It's exciting to come back to the office and bring folks from around the state into our office in Santa Barbara and just to the community as a whole. So both Maria and George have been extremely busy with that. And I think they have another meeting with the Public Information Outreach Committee coming up next. So that'll be 4 meetings in a very short amount of time. We're a little still in post-COVID shock as far as how do we do this comeback thing, but it's working very well.
And that's because you're the chair of the CAPCOA board, right?
Yeah, the president.
President.
Of the board, yeah. But we also have a lot of chairs. I know Tina chairs the HR committee, Liz is the chair of the POC committee, and Caitlin chairs the compliance. So as a medium-sized district, we are definitely pulling our weight and adding valuable resources. I know Dave Harris, who's not a chair, but extremely involved in a lot of the engineering committee efforts as well. But George and Maria, if you ever come into our office or need assistance, they will be there ready to greet you. So thank you. Moving on now to engineering division, Noah Dooley. He joined the office, our district, on July 5th, 2022. He will be working on permits and source testing programs for our engineering division. Prior to joining our team, he earned a degree in chemical engineering at the University of Colorado in Boulder. He relocated to Santa Barbara 2 years ago because he loves the water, he loves the sun, and the people of the county. He enjoys surfing, rock climbing, backpacking, and generally being out in nature where he is during his free time. And he's excited to join us in our efforts to protect the clean air of Santa Barbara County and be part of our team. Thank you. And then the last new hire that we're going to introduce today is Patrick Collins. He started most recently, July 12th, 2022. He is an air quality specialist in our monitoring section. He was born and raised in Santa Maria, and he graduated from St. Joe's High School. He went on to San Jose University and earned a bachelor's degree in meteorology. Before joining the district, Patrick worked at an environmental testing lab as a lab technician. And on his off time, Patrick enjoys being outdoors, camping, and hiking. You can also find him probably in Waller Park playing disc golf, enjoying working on his 1985 Mercedes 380 SL. Is that diesel? Oh, good. And going for long rides on his motorcycle. So we're very excited to have Patrick, Noah, George, and Maria here today. And I apologize for folks here online who weren't able to see them in person, but they'll be providing presentations to all of you in the new future and near term on the areas that they work in. Interns have also played an extremely important role with our agency. We've been able to utilize engineers in our compliance division efforts. We have Ames Knoll. She's an intern right now who is graduating from UC Santa Barbara next year with a degree in environmental studies and a minor in spatial studies. Benice Limon is a third year also at UCSB, majoring in environmental studies with a minor in spatial studies. So that's a thing. Yeah, GIS is so important in all of our communications and understanding. Both Ames and Benice are compliance interns, and they've been very effective helping us streamline our annual report process. I don't know if you noticed in the NOV report, there were a lot of annual report violations. It's something that we've been able to automate and do in batches with our new system, and Benice and Ames were very effective in that responsibility. Ames has been with us, I think, for about 1.5 years now, and she's also assisting in some inspections for the compliance division. Adam Wu is one of our more recent interns that was hired. He's also at UCSB. His major is environmental studies with a concentration in ecology. He's our planning division intern, but over the summer, I know he helped Liz with a lot of outreach efforts. We're going to be going out for an outreach intern shortly. We're doing that very shortly. And it's for outreach, and our goal is to secure an intern that also is English and Spanish speaker. So wish us luck on that front. And if you have any recommendations, we always look for your recommendations. All right, and then the next thing I wanted to follow up on, I have a brief PowerPoint presentation. If we can make sure that's showing, that would be great. Is it? Okay. At our last board meeting, when we had an update on our grants program, Director Williams asked some questions related to electric vehicles and zero emission landscape equipment. And we didn't have all the answers at that point. So we pulled together some information to share with you. The first slide shows, the next slide shows all the the public electric vehicle charging stations throughout the county. We're almost at 400 publicly accessible electric vehicle charging stations. Over 320 of those are level 2. They charge, but at a slower rate than the fast chargers. And then we have 64 that are fast chargers. And on this image here, the green are the tier 2 and the orange are the fast chargers that are located throughout. So a total of 392 total.
And Tesla, only Tesla people, is that included in this, or is that just for all vehicles?
This is publicly accessible for all vehicles. And then on the next slide, this demonstrates all of the charging stations that the Air District has been able to assist with funding. So it's a busy slide with a lot of numbers. The bottom line is we've been able to fund over almost 250 charging stations throughout the county. 218 of those were level 2, 31 were the DC fast chargers. So of the total level 2s, we funded 66% of the level 2 charging stations that are here and almost 50% of the fast charging stations. Over $2 million have been earmarked of our grant funds for this effort. On the electric vehicle population front, that's the next slide. Is it clicking over? Okay. You don't need to be sorry. I'll just go ahead and talk about the electric vehicle population in the county. This information is available and it's tracked by the California Energy Commission. They have ZEV, zero emission vehicle statistics for the entire state. Throughout California, we're almost at 3% of all vehicles operating in the state that are zero emission, plug-in hybrid, or fuel cell vehicles. And if you compare that to what we have in Santa Barbara County, we have 2%. So we're slightly below the state average, but hopefully we'll be trending in that direction as more and more electric vehicles become available to us. On the slide that you can't see, there's a Tesla as a demonstration. Teslas do count for the majority of the vehicles in our county. Nearly over 2,000 are Teslas. The remaining include the Chevy Volt or the Chevy Bolt or the Nissan Leaf. And there's an image of the Nissan Leaf that Brian, who's going to be presenting later today, was able to drive up and have here in the parking lot. So after this meeting, if you're interested in checking out the Bolt, doing a test drive, it's here for you to take a look at. All right, and then the last slide related to electric vehicles in particular is the share of cells or the progress of cells in California. And you could see by the last line item here in 2022, this is only for half of the year. It's significantly higher than what we've been able to see in the years prior. And you can only hope that with the remainder of the year, the remainder of incentive funds and increased incentives going to these vehicles, that will continue to increase. Let's just hope that the supply chain and the actual availability of these vehicles continues in our local marketplace. Before I move over to LEAF, I just wanted to highlight that we currently have our Clean Air Grant Program open. It is available to fund the EV infrastructure projects. That program closes and all applications need to be submitted by the end of this month, August 31st. So we hope to receive a lot of infrastructure projects for consideration. And then the last slide, I just wanted to put a spotlight quickly on our landscape electric equipment program. We've had 2 pilot projects, and to date, we've been able to fund over 700 pieces of equipment. Batteries are extremely important when folks change from gas to electric, because we don't want folks to have to stop in the middle of the work, go back to the shop to charge. We want to make sure they can continue doing their work with the batteries, the backup batteries. So batteries have been one of the largest, and in our interactions with those that have been engaged in this program, it's been very important for them to have a significant supply of batteries so they can carry out their work in the field. We've earmarked, or we've been successful to receive $850,000 from the state Carl Moyer Reserve Fund that's incorporated into your budget. We're working right now with CARB on the guidelines for this new project. And the guidelines should be finalized by November, so we should be able to launch the third year of a landscape equipment electrification program, either towards the end of this year or early in 2023. So that's going to go a long ways for expanding the use in the commercial environment of these electric landscape projects.
So it was good that Director Williams asked for that explanation, because that's really good to know. Do any other board members have comments or questions?
I don't see any hands up on Zoom.
I have one, since you did such a great job on this. The new bill that just passed Congress will have lots of incentives in it for electrifying homes and transportation. Is there any way we could get an update on that?
Yeah, we are a member of NACA, the National, it's kind of like CAPCOA, but it's an association for air agencies across the entire nation. And their executive officer pulled together a very nice summary. It's still unsure how those funds will be funneled through. We currently receive 103 and 105 grants from EPA, and a lot of the funding categories were referencing those two existing grant programs. I'm not sure if that will just be amending what we currently have or working through the feds to the state to the local air districts. So we are digesting all of that information, and definitely something that we can provide back to your board at the next meeting.
Terrific.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I attended the National Association of Counties last month in Denver, and one of the presentations was done by member of the Board of Supervisors in Texas. They were talking about how in their state of Texas, they had 200,000 electric vehicles, and it was basically sending out this call to everybody that you don't know what's coming, right? Like, you don't understand, there's gonna have to be charging stations, and the looks on everybody's face is just like, oh my God, like this is really gonna happen. That's when I went and Googled, well, I went to ZevStats, and California has over 1 million already electric vehicles, and 20% of the cars being sold. So it was kind of funny that it's just hitting other places like, hey, this is going to happen. And it was shock, pretty much like, oh, so they're all going to have to charge. Well, they're going to have to be places for these people to go. It's like, yeah, this is what we've been dealing with for the last 10 years.
Fortunately, they have a lot of wind energy down there. So, but well, that's exciting. I just wanted to say welcome to, on behalf of the board, to our new employees, and thank you to our interns. We see a lot of retirements, and we're all sort of sad to see the people go who we worked with for many years, but it's really exciting to see new faces. We know you have lots of opportunities. It's really the workers, we don't have enough workers right now. And so that you've chosen APCD means a lot to us. And we all are involved in public service and find it very rewarding. And we're sure you will too. So we're glad you made that choice. Okay, I think we're ready for public comment on items not on today's agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any commenters from the public?
Chair Harmon, we did not receive any public comments.
All right, then we turn to our business H1. Madam Clerk, would you read that into the record?
Discussion item H1, resolution for Clean Air Day. Adopt a resolution proclaiming October 5th, 2022 as Clean Air Day in Santa Barbara County.
All right. Before we start the presentation, I would like, if possible, if Director Williams could talk briefly about Supervisor Carmen Ramirez and her longstanding support and commitment to Clean Air Day and the committee.
Please, Supervisor Williams, Director Williams.
Well, as most of you know, Supervisor Carmen Ramirez passed away on Friday. She was struck crossing on a crosswalk near Heritage Square, which has concerts during the summer every Friday, which she loved to attend. Carmen, if you don't know her well, just was a real fixture of Ventura County politics even longer than she was an elected official. She was particularly a economic justice advocate, a local attorney. She was the chair of the board of cause when I was the only organizer up here in Santa Barbara County for that organization. She also was on the Environmental Defense Center board, so some of you know her through that connection. She served 10 years as a city council member in the city of Oxnard, which is our region's largest city. And then just unfortunately a mere 2 years as a supervisor. I felt a great kinship with Carmen because she, has had the zealous mix of wanting to fight for working people, but also wanting to fight for the environment, and considering those not contradictory and considering those complementary. And her sort of equal commitment to those, which stands in contrast, I would suppose, to sometimes, NIMBY environmentalism, was something that I had a particular affinity with. She and I had the pleasure of having a trip down to San Diego last year with my daughter, and so we had a special connection there too. So if you guys see Roy Prince, her husband, please extend your condolences. She was leading the charge on our Clean Air Day effort. I was along for the ride. We were partnering together, but she was managing to get more players involved than me. So we're gonna need to pick up some of the effort in preparation for both. We've got Electric Vehicle Week, I think, and Clean Air Day back to back. So this is really an effort or a chance to get information out to people that they can help them live their values, but can also help them significantly economically. Hot off the presses, the U.S. Department of Energy confirmed that beginning January 1st, Bolts, Leafs, Ford Mustang Mach-E's, and several other, and Tesla 3s and Ys will all qualify for the $7,500 tax credit if your combined income is less than $300,000 for a household. There's also plenty left, even with all those vehicle sales you saw on the graph. There's still plenty in the state fund for rebates. That's a $2,000 rebate for those same models and many more. And so there are significant economic gains that our constituents can make, significant protections from inflation that they can make, and we can get out the message. So I'm hoping that in honor of Carmen, we will complete one of her last tasks.
Thank you, Director Williams, for recognizing Carmen for her service. It was fortunate, I think, for both Liz and myself that we had a few meetings we were able to participate in with Supervisor Ramirez and see her leadership and her desire for this coming Clean Air Day event. So now we're going to hand the baton over to Liz Bantalon, the Air Pollution Control District Public Information Officer, to present on this item.
Thank you, Erin. Is my mic on?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Erin, and thank you, Director Williams. Like Erin said, I'm Liz Bantalon, the district's Public Information Officer, and today I'm going to go through a handful of slides about our plans for Clean Air Day. Showing up over here. Okay. So just for some background, California Clean Air Day occurs on the first Wednesday of October. It is promoted by the Coalition for Clean Air and is a really great opportunity to increase awareness about local air quality. The graphic on this slide shows some highlights and accomplishments from Clean Air Day 2021 for the entire state. As has been noted, Aaron and I have joined Director Williams and other regional partners in forming the subcommittee between the two counties for us to collaborate on outreach leading up to Clean Air Day. This year, our agency will use a variety of our outreach tools to spread the word about Clean Air Day and encourage people to learn more with a few specific focus areas. The tools that we'll use are including, but not limited to, a news release in English and Spanish, bilingual social media posts, our classroom Clean Air Ambassadors program, and of course, sharing information that other subcommittee partners put out there. We also encourage some local entities to apply for a microgrant. The Coalition for Clean Air provides microgrants for targeted outreach on Clean Air Day. So I mentioned the 3 areas of focus. One of them is going to be encouraging individuals and students to take the Clean Air Day pledges. These pledges are simple, but they provide small actions that people can take that collectively can make a big difference. Some examples in the students' pledge are shown in this graphic here. Examples of actions that individuals can take in the individual's pledge are, carpooling, composting, consolidating their online shopping purchases, or buying local produce from the farmer's market. There's also an organizational pledge that APCD took that includes things like supporting EV infrastructure, converting to cleaner vehicle fleets over time, of course, promoting Clean Air Day across multiple channels, and bringing this resolution to your board today. So I mentioned we'll have multiple focus areas. The second one is going to be sharing more information about the latest zero emission technology, which Aaron touched on. We're going to be doing that especially as it relates to electric cars and landscaping equipment. For the electric cars component, we'll work with the Central Coast Clean Cities Coalition, C5, to promote the latest rebate opportunities for electric vehicles and also infrastructure funding and opportunities. As was mentioned, it's really great timing with the lead up to Clean Air Day coinciding with National Drive Electric Week. In terms of the landscaping equipment, we'll use Clean Air Day as a jumping off point to encourage people to sign up for information for our upcoming incentive program. Lastly, our third focus area is going to be about preparing for wildfire smoke. As we've mentioned before, we issue bilingual texts and emails when we send out air quality alerts with county public health. We have lots of people signed up to receive those notifications, but we want them to receive more. Hopefully in your printed version, this looks a little bit better, but it shows how you can sign up on our website. It's very easy to do. And we also offer this subscription page in English and in Spanish. Another part of the wildfire smoke preparedness we want to encourage people to do is to create their clean air room if they haven't already. There are many ways to do that and many budget options. And it's just an excellent tool for people to keep their indoor air clean during smoke events. With that, we recommend that your board adopt the attached resolution proclaiming October 5th, 2022 as Clean Air Day in Santa Barbara County. And I believe Lorena is going to read the resolution.
In the matter of support for and declaration of Clean Air Day in Santa Barbara County. Whereas air pollution contributes to higher rates of cancer and heart and lung diseases, which adversely affect health. And whereas California has some of the worst air quality in the United States. And whereas the district's mission is to protect the people and the environment of Santa Barbara County from the effects of air pollution. And whereas emissions from vehicles, industry, and even household sources significantly affect the natural environment, air quality, and well-being of Santa Barbara County residents. And whereas individual actions can directly improve air quality and preparedness measures can protect health when air quality is affected by incidents like wildfires. And whereas education about air quality can raise community awareness, encourage our community to develop better habits, and improve our community health. And whereas Californians will be joining together across the state to mark Clean Air Day on October 5th, 2022. And now therefore it is hereby resolved that October 5th, 2022 be declared Clean Air Day in the district, and that we encourage all community members to participate in Clean Air Day and help clear the air for all individuals of Santa Barbara County.
Thank you, Madam Clerk and Ms. Mantalon. Do any directors have questions?
I do.
Director Lavanito.
Thank you. It sounds negative to me. I don't know. When I read the resolution, it came across as and I think if you take California as a whole, maybe I always feel like we need to do, I don't know, it just feels like in Santa Barbara County, people feel that there's this really confusing look at air quality to me, that it always comes across as like, I understand that, you know, the desire to improve our air quality and test air quality, all those things, it's all great. But we never get out the good message, the story of how much better it is than it was 15, 20 years ago. I think there's an opportunity for us to tell that story. APCD 20 years ago used to have the hearing rooms full of people. There was, you know, we were out of exceedance on many different platforms, however you measured it. And, you know, now it's almost like this is a government agency that did its job, that is doing its job, that is very successful. And I don't think the success of APCD is promulgated enough that people still feel like we are in these really bad times. When you look at the numbers, I guess we're just not getting enough credit. Not me personally or the board, but I don't think the people and industry is getting enough credit, or, you know, the joining with regulators to really achieve these goals. And maybe this is the form in which we're able to celebrate that. But, you know, I know we're trying to motivate people to change their behavior. And the easiest way to motivate people is always to scare them. That always tends to work. I just don't like doing that. And so starting off with, you know, the evils of air pollution, which we all understand. For me, I just think it could have a positive spin on it and be more about, look at what we've accomplished. And yes, we have more to do, but that story is lost somewhere. And I don't know where. Maybe it's not in this resolution, because I think this is a resolution that basically a lot of people are using. But I just think that message needs to get out more locally. So
Either Ms. Badalon or Ms. Arlen Janae, do you have ideas about how we could, around the campaign, make the message more positive?
Especially in our new feeds and our social posting. I think we've gone through a bit of, we succeeded when we achieved the ozone standard, and then the next year we fell back into non-attainment. But still, over the years, as you mentioned, the number of ozone exceedances that we've been able to accomplish with everyone's actions, including the regulations, we have made significant improvement.
and I think the other side of that too, though, is the exceedances either tend to be around wildfires, things that we really can't control.
Yeah, shipping.
Right, and shipping. So it almost is like we took stationary down to zero, which was the job and the mission of this organization. And now we're looking for other things to do almost. And yes, we need to stay on top and regulate, but I don't know, it just seems to be lost somewhere that people, I don't think they know the difference between what they were breathing in 1975 as opposed to 2022.
We could definitely incorporate that as part of our campaign when we roll out everything associated to Clean Air Day. And it should be a celebration of Clean Air Day. We don't want to scare people. We don't want to make them feel that, you know, yeah, that we have dire situations.
Breathing is
here.
hazardous to their
Yeah,
health.
exactly. We want people to get out and exercise and enjoy the Central Coast for sure. So that can be a strong component of our individual outreach efforts as we launch this program.
Any other directors?
Director Hart and Director Prody have comments on Zoom.
Right. Director Hart.
Yeah, I just want to echo Supervisor Lavanino's comment about how valuable the message that big ambitious goals that are achievable is, and it relates not just to clean air, but to our efforts to address climate change and advance renewable energy. There are extraordinary things, and we're talking earlier about the proliferation of electric vehicles, in our community, and how folks are embracing that in a tremendous way. And California has very ambitious climate goals that are incrementally being achieved, and as we achieve those, we're advancing them further. And the federal government is following that lead, and the new climate legislation that Congress just passed is a product of all of the efforts that are happening at local government levels and trickling up to the national government level. So there's a lot of examples of exactly what Supervisor Lavadino was talking about how the public doesn't necessarily understand. And there still are people out there who are saying you can't achieve these ambitious goals, in spite of the fact that there are numerous examples in our lifetimes in very short periods of time when government said, we need to do this for public health, and we achieve it. And that is a really important point that probably should be woven through all of our communications in this space, to remind people that when you charge government with public health and safety mandate, and you give it time, and you provide the resources necessary to achieve that working with industry approach, we can accomplish big things, and that's really important.
And Director Parodi?
Thank you, Chair. I agree. I'm a type person that likes to keep things positive, but it has kind of made me think about raising children. I don't know why that came up, but it's like as my children were growing up, especially when they were teenagers, I tried to focus on, when we would have conversations, is starting off with my concern, going into a positive, and then ending with how we can make things better. So, that's kind of how I'm looking at this in a way. How can we express to the community, what's happened in the past, where we are now, and all the things we've done, but yet what we still need to do. Something like that. Very simple.
I see a lot of nodding heads here.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation. I think this all can be weaved into our strategy moving forward. And I just really appreciate the feedback, and it helps me think about it with a different point of view before even drafting up the board item. So a very good refresher for me. I appreciate it.
Any public comment, Madam Clerk?
We did not receive any public comments.
All right, can I get a motion and a second to approve this resolution, but with direction to then further, I think following Director Parodi's outline for the campaign.
So moved. Lavadino.
Second, Williams.
Madam Clerk?
Director Parodi,
Aye.
Director Julian,
Aye.
Director Infante,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
Director Rouse,
Aye.
Director Hart,
Aye.
Director Lavadino,
Aye.
Director Sierra,
Aye.
Director Osborne,
Aye.
Director Patino,
Aye.
and Chair Hartman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And Madam Clerk, would you read H2 into the record, please?
Discussion item H2, presentation on the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, Awareness, and Accountability Committee, the IDEA Committee. Receive and file presentation on the district's Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, Awareness, and Accountability Committee, IDEA Committee.
All right, this afternoon, Brian Wong with our Compliance Division. He's an Air Quality Specialist 3 with our Compliance Division, and also an IDEA Committee member, will be providing a presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Erin. And good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me today. Last time I spoke with you, we just got our microphaser, and I talked with you about asbestos. Here I am again today after I got a new district vehicle. So I think there's a trend here. I get something new and I have to come talk to you guys. So. As Erin mentioned, I'm a member of our IDEA committee. It's a committee that is designed to help facilitate and support our district's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. We were formed about a year ago, kind of at the height of national and local discussions surrounding DEI, as well as following the lead of other air districts that have established similar programs. We strongly believe that having a diverse, equitable, and inclusive work culture is beneficial to our employees and our community. I've been with the district since 2015. Since I've been there, I've always felt like DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, has been a part of us, but it's not something we've always brought to the forefront. So I'm excited to share with you guys today what we're doing as a committee to take a more concerted effort in this area. So when we first formed, we felt it was important to establish a mission statement that we could refer back to and make sure that we we're aligned with in everything that we do as a committee. The first part of that was to create a name. So IDEA stands for inclusion, diversity, equity, awareness, and accountability. These are all key components of that we believe are part of a successful DEI program. And our mission is to provide and maintain an inclusive workplace culture and celebrate diversity so that all ideas, collaborations, and perspectives flourish to better connect with our environment and the community we serve. I just want to emphasize that this mission speaks not only to our internal workplace, but to our community. It's an important distinction that we thought of when developing this mission, because serving the community is what is essential to our core as the district. So our committee is still relatively new. It's in its early stages. We're currently made up of 5 employees. There's myself, Letty, who couldn't be here today, but Lorena, Tina, who will be speaking later, and of course, Aaron. We're all very passionate about furthering the DEI program at the district. We're doing this in addition to our other work. And I just want to acknowledge that we don't have the same level of resources or staffing as some of the larger air districts that might have staff dedicated to the sole purpose. But with that said, I'm looking forward to sharing how we've been able to make a positive change within our small team. Before we get into that, though, I do want to share some demographics just to kind of ground us that compare our workforce with the population of our county. So I have a few charts here. As you can see, our gender closely matches that of the county, which is pretty much an even 50-50 split. So we have about 50 employees that identify as male and 50 that identify as female. With race and ethnicity, we're less diverse in our community. We have 74% of our staff that identify as white, whereas in county, that's 41%. We think it's important to understand and reflect on this data. It allows us to know our strengths and identify areas that we can improve in to better connect with our community. It's something we'll continue to measure and report on as part of our community activities. So I also want to share some things we've been able to accomplish. The key to a successful DEI program and our goal as the IDEA committee is to create a culture where all staff are welcomed and have a sense of belonging and connection with each other and our organization. This, of course, starts with a regular cadence of meetings. We meet once a month. We think of ideas and execute on the ones that we think might be a good fit and are in line with our mission. As a baseline to educate all employees on the importance of DEI, we've set up required trainings that include avoiding unconscious bias, empathy, and anti-harassment. We've also built on this and had an opportunity to bring in several impactful guest speakers to bring visibility to diverse experiences and broaden our horizons as an organization. Some of those speakers are pictured on this slide. In February, we were invited by the Bay Area Quality Management District to partake in a conversation with Nikki Giovanni. She's an award-winning poet and civil rights activist. And she shared with the group her unique life experiences and discussed what motivates her as a Black female artist. In March, around Cesar Chavez Day, we hosted Manuel Bernal, the Chief Operating Officer at the Cesar Chavez Foundation. And Manuel talked with us about Cesar's tireless work as a labor leader and civil rights activist. And he also shared, how his foundation is moving those mission and efforts forward. Most currently, in June, we hosted Santa Barbara resident James Joyce. He founded Coffee with a Black Guy, which is an anti-racism program. One of his goals is to normalize conversations about race. And he was a great moderator and really helped our group open up and share their feelings surrounding their own racial identities, insecurities, and hopes for a more inclusive and tolerant future. And to keep these conversations going, we as an organization developed Newsworthy Now Thursdays. Those are optional meeting that usually takes place at lunch on Thursdays, which is a telecommuting day for us. So it gives our staff an opportunity to meet and discuss top of mind current events that may be affecting them, and on a day that they may otherwise not be able to see or have time to talk with one another. Like our main mission, DEI, it's a lifelong journey. It's important that we focus on the work we still have to do. And it's important to reflect on what we can do next. So we've gotten really positive feedback on the events and trainings I just shared. We'd like to continue those, especially with more guest speakers to keep the conversation dialogues going. Now that things are opening up and we're able to hang out more often in person, we'd like to take advantage of that, get together, share stories, and hopefully share food. That's a big motivator for a lot of our staff. When we look at branching out beyond what we've done, as a committee, we'd like to formalize our commitments to DEI through establishing a policy, as well as looking at some key metrics and objectives. We're also developing a staff survey for our staff to take to share their feedback on what we've already done and what they'd like to get out of the DEI program. And we're also interested in exploring ways to broaden our talent pipeline to include more diverse candidates wherever possible. Overall, we're excited to see where this journey takes us. We really value the insights and time of our teachers, educators, our guest speakers, and I really appreciate our team. So thank you for your time. And I hope that we could get back, soon and share what we're doing.
Thank you for that presentation. That's really inspiring, and small but mighty team. Madam Clerk, do any board members remotely? I don't see any lights here.
No hands raised up on Zoom.
All right. Any public comment?
We did not receive any public comment on this item.
I think, so much of the work that happens nowadays is in teams. People, it's not a single person who does an assignment. Even if they write it up, you've got to consult with a team, work with a team. And I think how we can feel fully accepted and embraced and work together. It's important to work these things out so that the team can be more effective. And as you say, I looked at the imbalance between how the diversity represented in the workforce and in the county. And that's an issue. People need to see people like them to apply for jobs and feel like that there's a future there for me. So I think these efforts are really important to the organization. And I thank everybody who's taking the time to do it.
Thank you.
So this does not need a vote. So I think we're ready to go to H3. Madam Clerk.
Discussion item H3, district efficiency measures. Receive and file a presentation on the district's efficiency measures currently being implemented.
All right, this afternoon we have a tag team. Tina Aguilar, our admin division manager, will kick off the presentation, and Will Suroff, the engineering division supervisor, will be providing input on some new Adobe sign developments that have been in the works for quite a while. We have a lot of efficiency measures that we've been able to implement, especially since COVID. We were on the track to moving more electronic with everything that we do, luckily at the right time, because we had no idea how much these efficiency measures were going to save our bacon when we were all remote. So Tina, if you could please kick off the presentation.
Okay, so good afternoon, Chair Hartman and members of the board. I'm here today to review something other than the budget, so that's exciting. I'm here to talk about the different efficiency measures that the district has implemented or is in the process of implementing. I thought it might be fun, and the picture is kind of hard to see now, but fun to start the presentation by sharing a picture of our staff at our most recent annual potluck barbecue that we had last month at Goleta Beach. We had staff, some of our retirees and family members attend. It was a great afternoon with some really good food. So that continues the theme, right, that Brian just talked about. We like food. Okay. It's important to note where we've come from to help explain why efficiency measures have been so important for our district. Back in the early 90s, the district had 113 full-time employees. 10 years ago, that number had decreased by over half to 50 FTEs, and today we have 34. However, the work itself has not gone away or even decreased. The mandates for clean air continue. We feel that productivity rests on a foundation of efficiency. If our office efficiencies are strong, it will take the minimum amount of time to complete tasks and productivity will increase. Making sure staff has the resources and tools needed to be productive and continue to get the job done with fewer staff while working in office or remotely is why the district has invested the time and the resources into this effort. We are always trying to make things more user-friendly for the public and our regulated community. A few points to mention here. First, the district implemented online payments when we updated our accounting software in July of 2018. We now have a payment button on the top of our homepage, which allows any source that has an outstanding invoice to pay their fees online. The payment then flows directly into the accounting software for processing and does not require any data entry. Over the past few years, this payment option has picked up traction and has become more commonly used. The second item is the implementation of the online complaint form. The complaint form button is found on our complaints webpage. I have the link here so I can give you a quick tutorial on how it works. I'm hoping this works here. Okay, now it's kind of hard to see. Oh, it was there. There we go. Okay, so once on the complaint webpage, the button can be found at the top of the page. You click the button and that takes you to the online complaint form. Okay, so there it is. The individual will then need to input some of their personal contact information. They'll need to put the complaint type, whether the situation is still occurring, and a description of the complaint itself. Once they have those boxes populated, they can then submit the complaint. So just hit the submit button down at the bottom. The complaint goes directly into our database to be logged and is also emailed to all inspectors so they can respond. This new process eliminates the need for data entry from our office technicians and ultimately reduces our response time. The district has digitized all of its archives. The boxes were once found in the old methadone clinic behind our Santa Barbara office on the county campus. The building hadn't been used in years, and as you can imagine, was dark, cold, and musty. Now, staff can find any and all archives on our network with the click of a button. Our office technicians put together a log to help staff find what they need faster. This has been a huge time saver for staff when older files are needed. The other district-wide efficiency implemented earlier this year is Microsoft Teams Voice. This is a cloud-based phone system accessible from a mobile device or computer at any location. It was a critical piece of the puzzle when transitioning to a hybrid work environment. There was a lot of work and coordination to make this happen, and I'm happy to report the transition was seamless. We conducted lots of public outreach and have heard good things from staff. Another huge plus is it saves the district money annually for telephone costs. The admin division assisted the district with upgrading to Office 365 prior to the pandemic. Wait, I'm on the wrong slide. No, I'm not. I'm on the right, sorry. That helped immensely when we were all working from home. SharePoint is a cloud-based service that's included with an Office 365 license. With SharePoint, electronic files can be created and saved to the cloud. We've been slowly moving our network files to SharePoint. To date, we've moved 25,000 network folders and approximately 500,000 files. This is such a huge deal because now if we lose power at the district's offices due to a wildfire or PSPS or any other loss of power event, we'll still have file access. Per our IT department, we have 30 SharePoint teams or group sites that we can use for collaboration, communication, and file sharing. The other efficiency measure the admin division has been focusing on is annual performance reviews. The district's employee performance evaluations hadn't been updated in over 10 years. One of the district's goals last fiscal year was to revamp that EPR system. A new performance evaluation procedure was recently developed due to technology advancements, which allows the process to be 100% paperless. The new platform is called TrackStar and is cloud-based and can be accessible from anywhere at any time. This online system replaces our manual process and will allow the district to customize reviews, define specific goals, stay on track with regular check-ins, and facilitate the overall process for both the evaluator and evaluatee. What's really great is both the employee and supervisor can take notes within the software during their one-on-one meetings. And if they want to use those notes in the EPR as backup for performance rating, they can do so by just clicking a button. This will definitely save time when writing evaluations. The district is always reviewing processes to see where we can become more efficient. Compliance found that inspection checklists would be a significant efficiency measure. Inspectors use inspection checklists for common types of inspections, for example, gas stations or emergency standby diesel generators, which saves time compared to a written narrative inspection report. In addition, we are currently working with our programmers to add the checklists to our database to increase our efficiency when generating the inspection reports. Aaron mentioned the annual review process in NOVs. We're continually making our annual report review and associated notice of violation process more efficient. This year, we further automated the process and we are now able to generate batches of annual report NOV emails with the NOV documents automatically completed and attached directly from the database for late and missing annual reports. This is a huge time savings because staff just need to review the attachments for accuracy and then click send. During the pandemic, we discovered that remote inspections were a successful and efficient option for certain types of facilities. We continue to perform remote inspections for facilities with emergency standby diesel generators when possible. The remote inspection consists of requesting photos, records, and a completed inspection checklist from a facility by phone call or email, and then documenting compliance with an inspection report in our database. Here is an example of 2 pictures that were submitted by a source of their diesel generator, as well as their hourly records for the engine. The inspector reviews the pictures and records and compares the information provided to the permit requirements. In this example, the source is in compliance. And I know it's super hard to see, but on that second picture, there's an hour reading, 114.6. And that matches the last line on the record log submitted. The Planning Division has also implemented efficiency measures recently. They have focused on automation using Excel tools. On this slide, you can see the old car buyback registration qualification calculator that was designed to assist the program's dismantlers to quickly determine if a vehicle is eligible for the program or not. The dismantlers fill out the yellow boxes using the vehicle's car registration status, and based on the dates entered, will either get a yes, meets qualifications, or a no. Very easy to use and a great resource for the dismantlers. Because our monitoring staff have regular maintenance of their equipment, they've developed an automation tool that logs routine maintenance values for equipment items and automatically calculates and converts information to a PDF file that can then be saved for their records. This file can then be easily referenced down the road if they ever need it. I'm now going to hand off the presentation to Will so he can explain the district's efforts in engineering and Adobe Sign.
Thank you, Tina. Right, I will be talking about the engineering division's efficiency measures. My name is William Saroff. I will be talking about the engineering division's efficiency measures, specifically around Adobe Sign. So first off, what is Adobe Sign? Adobe Sign is a digital cloud-based signature platform that allows you to complete forms and agreements online digitally and store that information very efficiently. We first reached out to Adobe Sign to see if this would work with our processes, and we thought it'd be perfect for our annual report systems. Specifically using Adobe Sign, it allows us to, allows the regulated community to digitally complete, sign, and submit their annual reports that they must complete every year. It makes our life easier, it makes the life of the regulated community much easier as well. Currently, one of the issues we had was integrating ours database systems with Adobe Sign. They have different programming languages, so our programmers spent quite a bit of time to integrate that. We've completed those measures now. We've now created our first annual report using Adobe Sign, which is our gas station annual reporting form, ENF 58. We've conducted a series of internal tests, which have verified our ability to retrieve, read, and store the data submitted electronically from the Adobe Sign cloud servers. Now, what are the benefits of integrating Adobe Sign into our annual report workflows? First, it eliminates quite a bit of our manual data entry requirements. So our office tech staff and compliance staff no longer have to enter that data manually. It simplifies the annual report submittal process for the regulated community, which they will appreciate quite a bit. It greatly reduces the staff hours dedicated to logistics of receiving and logging annual reports. Currently, most of those reports come in by hard copy, which means they must be scanned into our database. They have to be entered into our database systems, and then someone's got to look at that data to make sure the socials are in compliance. That's quite a bit of man hours that can be automated quite quickly. Digital signatures using Adobe Sign are legally enforceable. This is because they're secure, they're unalterable once they're signed, and it's an auditable record that's created, which is quite important for us as a government agency to have those auditable records. Lastly, it improves the compliance of sources because we can send out automatic reminders for annual reports from sources who have yet to submit them before their due date, as well as setting up backend compliance software to automatically check sources' reports and their data to ensure compliance with our permits. And there's a link there to one of the forms we've created, which is should be going live soon. We've done quite a bit of internal testing. These forms can be completed on any computer, also on mobile devices, and sources can allocate or delegate the completion of these forms to other staff. So if a manager were to get this, they can delegate the completion of the annual report to their staff at various sources. And we've received some initial feedback. They're quite excited about this. In conclusion, the district will continue to make efficiencies wherever possible. We want to create and implement additional annual report forms using Adobe Sign. So we'll be looking at other annual report forms, seeing what we can integrate here and implement that as soon as possible. We also want to integrate Adobe Sign, this digital platform, into other workflows, potentially permitting and compliance as well. We will continue to assess the district's processes to address efficiencies. And we'll also keep our eyes out for new technologies as they become available. There's always something new on the horizon, and we strive to become as efficient as possible. Thank you.
So, Director Lavanino, is that positive?
Super positive. And I think that's another part of the story. You've gone from 113 employees down to 35. And and that part's not positive for everybody, but the 35 are basically doing the work of 100 people. We see that all the time in the county too, and I'm sure at the cities, is that you think back the way you used to work 5-10 years ago, it's so different, mailing things to people and waiting for the response and waiting for them to sign something and then sending it back, totally inefficient. And glad to see you guys continue to grow.
Madam Clerk, are there other directors who would like to comment?
I'm seeing no raised hands on Zoom.
Well, I'm just amazed. And I guess how did you create a culture of innovation like this? And that's the first question. And then who's doing all this software work? Are you hiring consultants and they're working with your staff? I can't tell you how many government agencies I've worked for or observed that have these grandiose ideas about efficiency and spend a lot of money and it comes back and it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, I think Will has lived and breathed the Adobe sign project now for about 2 years, I think, before it came to fruition. And we're very fortunate to have some programmers that we're working with that know the workflow of the agency. They've been working as programmers with us from a contractor point of view for decades at this point now. So they're very familiar with our agency. And I think it's just a nature of the beast when you go from such high numbers, 113 down to 34, and still more mandates continue to come our way, whether or not, the air quality is green, good all the time. They still, as a state agency, require us to do more. So we've been forced to get creative. I just think it's very fortunate for our agency to have staff like Will who have the patience and working with the programmer. And that's a foreign language. I think trying to figure out how to get Adobe Sign, which is an off-the-shelf technology here, and then have it interface with our database, which is organically grown, built out specifically for our agency, was a huge endeavor. And Will, please, if you
there was quite a bit of work on our programmer side, working, and also our IT side, just working with Adobe to understand their programming language. The software they've created, is not going to inherently talk to our database. So there's quite a bit of work on that. We've now completed that work, which we're really excited about, because that was the big hurdle. And now we can implement these techniques and this software throughout our workflows.
And it actually works.
Yeah. We were pushing. We wanted to say it was implemented by the end of last fiscal year. And it was a very exciting day when we actually were able to go live with Adobe Sign in one of its initial applications before June 30th. So we had an Adobe Sign party, virtual.
And I know some of our big sources that have used it so far have been very happy about it. I'm sure they hated having to print out forms, sign them, and mail them in, and would rather just digitally complete them.
Could you get some testimonials from the regulated community about what they think about this new approach?
Yeah, definitely. We can do surveys and reach out.
Yeah, just a few. I don't want to make it a big work, but just a flavor would be nice to know. Okay, public comment on this item. We didn't have anybody, so we've come to the end of the meeting. And I'm to say that this meeting will be rebroadcast on Sunday, August 21st, happens to be my birthday, at 5 p.m. on, I won't tell you how old today, on County of Santa Barbara TV channel 20. So we are adjourned, and we will, the date will have to come back to us because we're still meeting remotely. Yeah. All right, we're done.